Ahmed Fati of his appointment as Minister of the Interior. Members of the ECOWAS Strait Liberalization Task Force call on President Barrow. South Sudan's government hold talks with former army chief to ease tension in the war-torn country. And Italy opens investigations into the death of 26 African girls in the Mediterranean Sea. Well, these and other stories coming ahead in the next 30 minutes. I am your presenter, Uminjai.
Floating in the sea.
Thanks for joining us. His Excellency President Adama Barrow, acting under the provisions of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, has decided to relieve Mr. Mai Ahmed Fati of his appointment as Minister of the Interior with effect from Friday 10th November. Mr. Fati has been redeployed to the diplomatic service. The President has assigned the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Honorable Abubakar M. Tambedu, to oversee the Ministry of the Interior until further notice. The ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme Task Force Friday called on President Adama Barrow at Fajara. The team was set up by the heads of state of the ECOWAS bloc to make recommendations to member states on how to enhance regional trade and integration. Mamadou Jallow spoke to one of the members of the task force on the outcome of their meeting with President Barrow.
Because of some challenges, hurdles, impediments and obstacles along the borders and the corridors. And therefore, the region is not benefiting maximally from that particular objective. What should be done to ensure that, one, member states reap from the revenues accruing from regional integration and trade? Two, what should be done to ensure that the ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme is fully implemented? That's why we're here. Number three, what should be done to encourage the free movement of persons, goods, and services, including capital and labor, within the ECOWAS system? Four, there is also the rights of citizens of ECOWAS in every member state where they find themselves. How can we guarantee that that particular right enshrined in the protocols, namely the rights of residents, that every citizen of member states, no matter where you are guaranteed that right. You can reside, you can establish your business. These are the reasons why we're here. We have traversed the entire Gambia. We have had discussion with all shades of stakeholders, ministries, departments, agencies, including private sectors. What we have come to do here is to table before His Excellency our findings, our observations, and our recommendations.
Every Friday, the President joins Muslims at the mosque to perform Friday prayers. This has become a unique feature of the Gambian leaders' outreach to communities within the Greater Banjul area. Mamadou Jallow has more in this report.
President Adama Barrow continues his religious outreach to communities, performing Friday prayers at Farato. Delivering his sermon, Imam Baba Sise enjoined the congregation to fear Allah and obey His commands. Speaking after the prayer, the President reminded the people that he took up his initiative as a means to pray together with them and seek divine guidance. He called on the religious leaders to continue praying for peace and stability. He argued that religious leaders play a prominent role in influencing positive change in society and urged them to continue playing that indispensable role. He also added that a religious nation enhances peace as people's actions are always guided by the fear of God. Earlier, Al-Khali Fatih Sow and elders thanked the President for praying at Farato, assuring him of their prayers. Mamadou Jallow, GRTS News.
The National Assembly Select Committee on Health on Thursday started a nationwide fact-finding tour of health institutions. As Mariama Balde reports, the visit is aimed at finding ways to improve the health sector. The Network Against Gender-Based Violence, in collaboration with Action Aid International, the Gambia, have secured a 2-year funding from Amplify Change. The project would help to strengthen advocacy against gender-based violence. Fatmata Simaha reports.
The Open Day Forum that gathered stakeholders from the Office of the Vice President, Health Department and other relevant key players on Friday shared research findings on obstetric outcome on FGM and social cultural perception of FGM, as well as consequences on labor in the Gambia. The Network Against Gender-Based Violence, in partnership with the Action Aid, deemed it necessary to strengthen the monitoring and evaluations of FGMC research conducted for 2016 and 2017 and developed capacity to accelerate change. The Gambia, with major achievements registered as a result of rigorous advocacy. But activists such as Hadimoch Barrow see the need and scope for more endeavors to totally eradicate the harmful traditional practice.
FGM is a harmful practice and it has a negative impact on the life of women, especially their sexual and reproductive health.
Engaging activists' efforts against FGM in various capacities, Action Aid the Gambia has emphasized the demand for more work to increasingly popularize the law and similarly create social awareness on the negative effects of FGMC and gender-based violence.
The impact of gender-based violence on people as individuals and on a nation has to be proven, and it is only through research that we can get the information or the facts that we need to take appropriate action against the issue.
The Office of the Vice President mobilizes and calls on strategic partners to support and promote the implementation of the amended Women's and Children's Act. That legislation aims to empower women and children to demand their rights and advocates for effective enforcement and enactment of gender-based laws formulated to protect them.
And then the sad thing is that you have suffered that oppression. You, the woman, have suffered that oppression. Yet, when the complications come, you suffer the most. Again, because for fistula, you are excluded.
Findings on obstetric outcome indicated that half of women who underwent FGM find it difficult to give birth, according to Nene Ba.
Women that had no FGM had little complications compared to those that had FGM. But even those that had FGM, the complications got more severe depending on the grade of the FGM. So grade 1 had less complications compared to grade 2 and 3.
The momentum to address female genital mutilation is growing. Similar forums will be held across all regions in the Gambia as gender and human rights activists move to fully eradicate the harmful traditional practice that has destroyed the lives of so many women and girls. For GRTS News, I am Fatimata Simaha.
The Director General of the Gambia Radio and Television Services has renewed the national broadcaster's commitment to accommodate divergent views. Ibrahim Silla was speaking on Thursday at the Gambia in Transition Expert Conference on Governance, Human Rights and Development. Saini Marina tells us more.
Sharing his experience and thought in an expert forum on information and communication technology, GRTS boss Ibrahim Silla and Mr. Papa Yusuf Njai, the founder of Unix Solution, an IT firm, decried the lack of licenses for internet providers.
For the first time, the GRTS is allowing a divergent opinion on the national television, although the two recent events have left a lot to be desired, and those events have, I think, left an indelible mark on us. But they have been challenged, and I think we've dealt with them internally. And I'm also happy that the chairman made mention of the issue that Gambians don't watch their own television, and for a good reason. But this is not only because GRTS was used and misused. It could also be because GRTS did not invest in training and in equipment.
The Gambia in Transition Expert Conference on Governance, Human Rights and Development is an opportunity to re-evaluate and make recommendations that will strengthen public institutions, shape development pathways, and provide pointers for the expansion of rule of law in the Gambia.
These licenses now allow us to operate freely, to recoup those lost investment, to also make sure that we're responsible to the citizenry. Because yes, communication costs are not the cheapest in the Gambia, better than elsewhere. We were under a monopoly, but yet still technology also flourished, because that's what technology does. You can police it, but it always finds its head somewhere. Absolutely. And that's what they couldn't do. That message by the former president castigating Mandingos, the person in Fatoto heard it. How? Through WhatsApp.
The event is organized by Dr. Abdul Jang, a Gambian international human rights advocate looking to complement ongoing initiatives and provide technical expertise that will contribute to the national dialogue on relevant issues by formulating a clear and detailed blueprint to support government and civil society aspirations. The role of the media in information dissemination was the key highlights of the panel discussion. Speaking to GRTS shortly at the end of the expert meeting, Sissin diplomat Ibu Momortal welcomed the initiative and discussion.
The discussions we have had have been very good. I tried to summarize what the difference between diplomacy under duress and what it was before and what it can be today. I mean, these are three phases.
In the light of decades of Jammeh misrule, the coming to office by President Adama Barrow in January was seen by a majority of Gambians as a clean break from traumatic past. This naturally brought optimism and hope for making of a transformative Gambia, one that is built around a vibrant governance culture. Seni Marena for GRTS News.
The Director of Health Promotion says good nutrition is one of the country's major health challenges. Mamadou Njai was speaking during a visit up-country with officials of the World Food Programme and National Disaster Management Agency, where they distributed food items to children in their quest to end malnutrition. Louis Mendy reports.
Said Mamadou Njai, the Director of Health Promotion at the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. Mr. Njai also doubles as the focal point for the EU-funded post-crisis response to food and nutrition security in the Gambia, has just returned from the provincial Gambia where personnel of his ministry, plus the National Disaster Management Agency, the National Nutrition Agency, and Red Cross have been distributing food items to children between 6 and 23 months, designed to give them a fighting chance against malnutrition.
One is called Plumpy Dose, and the other one is called Plumpy Soup. And this Plumpy Soup is mainly meant for children who are on the targeted supplementary feeding, and it's about 100 milligrams. And it's given to children who are malnourished, above 12 centimeters of the MUAC, which is the mid-upper circumference. And then also for and it's also given to children 6 to 59 months. And also for the BSF, that's the blanket supplementary feeding, is given that also the second is given, which is called the Plumpy Dose, which is about 50 milligrams, and it's given to children 6 to 23 months. And there's also above 12 centimeters of the MUAC, that's the mid-upper circumference.
Mr. Njai said in total over 30,000 children in all the 5 regions have benefited from the blanket supplementary feeding and the target supplementary feeding.
The whole idea is to ensure that for BSF, basic blanket supplementary feeding, is to ensure that they don't go into the stage of malnutrition. That's mainly for prevention. And also for the Plumpy Soup is mainly for treatment. Those who are already malnourished and you just manage them with that particular soup for a period of 1 month. Why we put it in sachet this time around, WFP and partners thought that there is a need for the food to be packaged in such a way that it will be attractive. This is meant for them to take 1 sachet per day for 30 days. For the blanket supplementary feeding, we targeted 40,000 children, and for the targeted supplementary feeding, we also targeted about 16,900 children.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health, through the same €4 million EU-funded 3-year project to last until 2019, has secured 6 laptops, 6 motorbikes, plus a set of chairs and a cooking pot to further aid the campaign on malnutrition, particularly stunted growth, which the Gambia has only recorded over 20% success.
The laptops are very important, especially in the area of data collection, data analysis, and also reports for which partners actually take a key role, because implementation is done by the partners. The motorbikes, of course, for movement of field personnel. The cooking pots are also needed because there'll be cooking demonstrations. The plastic chairs, I'm sure, to ease the distribution process.
The materials were on Thursday delivered to Cherno Omar Bari, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Health, for onward delivery to field workers for the project.
This is the added support, really, to ensure that we are now able to verify and ensure that the project that is implemented with regards to malnutrition is measured. The 6 laptops, the 6 motorbikes, and the set of chairs and cooking pots would definitely be put to the use for which they are provided. This is the commitment that the ministry will give.
The 10 top diseases caused by malnutrition include rickets and pellagra, characterized by diarrhea and death. Poor nutrition also breeds scurvy, goiter, night blindness, and kwashiorkor, characterized by enlarged liver. Hence the importance of the EU post-crisis response to food and nutrition project for the Gambia. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
St. John's School for the Deaf has received a donation of food and non-food items from a Netherlands-based organization dubbed Project Gambia Feeding People. Samuel Bach was at the presentation ceremony. Donations. The United Kingdom-based Combosilla Association recently donated $100,000 to Gunjur Health Center for the rehabilitation of the maternity ward. Saidu Kamara has more.
To the Gunjur Health Center towards the development of Medicare facilities and services is a donation the community described as vital and well-timed. Aimed at particular uplifting the hospital maternity ward, the presentation is the initiative of the Combosilla Association based in the UK. Here, Lamin Dabo gives a brief history of the association, which he said is bent on improving and providing quality health care for the people of Gunjur.
According to the recommendation given to them by the hospital, the Gunjur Health Center, to concentrate instead on improving the condition of the maternity ward at the health center. So it's a very timely intervention. Health is a significant aspect of human life. If you are not healthy, then certainly you can't do anything else.
Underscoring what he described as primary concern for the government, Combo South Chief Lamin S. Dabo commended the association for the efforts to make optimum healthcare available for locals.
So it is incumbent from each and everybody, whether you are within the country or outside, to play your quota in the improvement of the health sector. So this donation has come at the right moment to help to improve facilities at the maternal unit of the Gunjur Health Center.
The nurse in charge of Gunjur Health Center, Hadi Fadera Jise, received the money and thanked the members of the Combosilla Association for complementing the government's efforts.
On behalf of the entire staffs of Gunjur Health Center, we are very grateful and we are very happy for this timely donation. For those in the diaspora and those in the community at large. Thank you very much.
Other speakers held the initiative, bringing much needed assistance to enhance healthcare conditions in Gunjur and the Gambia at large. National Assembly Majority Leader Keba Barrow acknowledged the importance of the intervention and highlighted the need to particularly support the maternal ward at the health center located in the middle of a major catchment area and several communities in the Kombo South district.
Is very important for us as people of Kombo South because it's going to uplift the status of the maternity wing. Looking at the population of Kombo South at 168,000 after the last 2013 housing and population census, and this timely donation will go a long way in ensuring that the women who are at labor are taken care of and their health status are improved at all times.
The Kombo Silla Association has been supporting the Gunjur Hospital with healthcare resources that range from medication, surgical and emergency equipment, as well as beds on the development scheme, looking to provide complete medical services and facilities for the Kombo South settlement. Saidu Kamara, GRTS News.
Millions of people from around the world recently assembled in the Senegalese city of Tuba to pay homage to Serigne Touba. Mamadou Badiane witnessed the 123rd edition of the Magal Touba and he filed in this report.
Magal Touba is an event whose highlights begin with the challenging journeys of a vast jam-packed city. It has continued to attract more and more pilgrims every year. The annual religious pilgrimage of the Murid Brotherhood, dubbed the Grand Magal of Touba, is one of the most important Islamic festivals of the Sufi orders in the Senegambia region. Following the return of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba from exile in Gabon between 1895 and 1902, Murids from around the world annually observed Magal Touba, which constantly attracts followers of the sect and other pilgrims. This year's episode is no exception, and scores have again journeyed to pay homage to the great scholar. Magal is celebrated on the 18th of Safar, the second month in the Islamic calendar, with pilgrims gathering in the holy Murid city of Touba to commemorate Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba's life and teachings. GRTS sounded the opinion of several individuals, including our Sow of Senegal Njarim and Fanta Baji from the Gambia.
jaayante rek ak sëñ Touba man fi mu nekk sama xol dafa fees bëgguma lekk bëgguma naan dama bàyyi sama yëpp ñëw jaayante ak sëñ Touba ba dugg
nje gambiri pulo mene bi babe mosti bi babe nak de jeme yan Touba andi ju joku baraka yoy to mo kam finki ne comme ne bin mene law duwa.
They all described the Magal as a special way of celebrating and paying tribute to the founder of Touba. For Serigne Abdou Marong, a member of the Murid Federation of the Gambia, as well as the representative of Murids in the Gambia, Pape Demba Diop, the Magal is one platform that strengthens the unity and cordial ties between the Gambia and Senegal.
Listen, my friend, Gambia and Senegal are one nation. They have been divided by these colonial people. We should be one. Join hands together, work together to develop our country. This is the mission. And said Ahmad Bamba have started it. You are from Gambia. You come purposely for this day. Nobody sends you out. You are among us. You are family. Say Ahmad Bamba did not separate anybody in. He said anybody who says La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, you should love him. He's your relative.
First of all, the President congratulated the Khalifa General for this great occasion, and also he asked prayers for the Gambian people, peace and stability in the Gambia and peace and stability in the sub-region. So, to the well-being of all Muslims in Africa, the Gambia and the Senegambia people.
Chief Superintendent of Police Bagari Kambi also did find time to come and commemorate the 18th Safar, which is Magali Touba, as we locally call it. Tell us a little bit of that, sir.
This is my 7th time in Touba. What we are witnessing and what we are seeing today. If you go to outside now, you see the crowd. You know, when this man passed up to today, and still people are continuing coming like, you know, nobody understands. Definitely, if it is Satan or it is lie, by now, game over. But every year, you think that today, this year is more than last year, next year also the same.
One of the many conferences and workshops defining the day was themed on beautiful human qualities and customs. Such events take source from the many writings of Ahmadou Bamba on religion and the human constitution. Graced by millions from around the world, additional highlights of the 2017 Magal include Quranic recitation sessions and the translation of famous Hasidas written by the prominent Sufi scholar and founder of Muridism, Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba. Mamadou Bajan reporting for GRTS News.
That report by Mamadou Bajan takes us to our first commercial break. When we return, we look at some sports. Stay tuned.
Golden deals in Batimat, the best deals of the year.
Yeah.
If I say discounts on the whole house, you say
a new living room.
All right. And if I tell you incredible prices,
we make over the bathroom.
So take the plunge into the water.
Whoa. Yes.
Take your comfort to another level. So do not miss the golden deals.
The prices
in promotion. Batimat, quality guaranteed. The golden deal, the best deals of the year for the whole house with Batimat's quality.
Lubesa best, Lubesa best. Nemoji for it. Hey, Lubesa best, Lubesa best. Nemoji for it. Hey, ma waxati. Ñëwal. Aka sakal loolu. Ñëwal. Aka neex loolu. Ñëwal. Neex na ci pancake. Ñëwal. Neex na ci mburu. Ñëwal. Neex na ci tapala. Ñëwal. Tey moji fariñ. Ñëwal. Aka sakal loolu. Ñëwal. Lay lay la la. Moji fariñ. Xolal. Jas. Ma yëkkati. Ba atan ken ko moji. Neex na ci pancake, neex ci mburu, moji fariñ. Baax ci tapala ba baax ci sempur, moji fariñ. Réew mi jëndal leen ko. Fariñ bi dafa neex lool sa sakan lool. Moji fariñ. Moji bu mu jëndee ba tey bonul. Moji fariñ. Moom la ñu taamu sa sakan lool. Moji fariñ. Ak a neex. Jëndi leen ko.
Yéen ñu doon ut fariñ bu baax, fariñ bu sakkan. Demal tey ca Moustapha J Diallo and Sons te 61 OAU Boulevard bi tey it nga teg sa téléphone call leen ci 4227 566 wala it 9244 331 kon wala it nga dem ci seen makkaan ba nekk Picton waa kër Moustapha J Diallo and Sons.
The 2017-2018 Gambia Football Federation Division League season will commence this weekend with the Super Cup final between GAF and Hawks. MS Jallo previews the season's opener.
Reigning 2017 Gambia Football Federation League champions, Gambia Armed Forces, and the FF Cup winners, Hawks Football Club, will kickstart the new football season when the two sides meet in the Curtain Raiser Super Cup final on Saturday at the Independence Stadium. The traditional Super Cup final, which is contested by the league champions and the FF Cup holders, marks the beginning of the country's premier football competition. Saturday's encounter between the Armed Forces and Hawks promises to be an exciting contest, with both teams hoping to win the first silverware of the season.
As defending champions, the preparation is already well. We are on it. And we could say, after mounting a successful second edition of Countrywide Tour, we're well ready for this Curtain Raiser with Hawks.
The Gambia Armed Forces enjoyed a stellar 2016-2017 season under coach Ibu Jara, who guided the Khaki Boys to their third league title in only his first season in charge of the team, with a record 48 points from 22 matches. Hawks, on the other hand, did extremely well to win the FF Cup competition, beating Real de Banjul in the final. And both teams should be hoping to carry their impressive run from last season into the new season with a win on Saturday.
It's going to be a very entertaining game, MS. We played with them last season. We won them in our own home ground, but after, in the second round, we drew goalless. That shows you that the coach went back to the drawing board and rectified some of the mistakes he learned during the first leg. So that's why I said we are not putting our achievement ahead of us, but we need to know that there is nothing that we achieve. Then that's the time the team can excel when it comes to the Super Cup.
Recent records between the two sides in the league tend to favor the Armed Forces, but tomorrow's encounter will be a different ball game altogether. The 2017-2018 GFF First Division League season is expected to be a heated contest, with most of the teams having reinforced their squad by either adjusting their technical department or by bringing new players to bolster their squads ahead of the new football season. Defending champions Gambia Armed Forces will be among the favorites, while 11 times champions Real de Banjul, who finished third last season, will hope to improve under new coach Major Sen. Gantel, who escaped relegation, has secured the services of coach Suleiman Kouyaté and are expected to do better. Brikama United, Gambia Ports Authority, Hawks, and Marimo, last season's surprise runners-up, will all be aiming for a better finish. Meanwhile, ahead of the Super Cup final, the Gambia Football Federation has dressed the two finalists by presenting both teams with a set of jerseys to be worn on the final. The jerseys were donated by Mustafa Ahmad, a Moroccan businessman, and presented to the two teams by the Gambia Football Federation President Lamin Kababajo. Battle lines are drawn between the Khaki Boys and the Red Devils, who is going to win the first silverware of the season. Saturday will tell. Mohamed Jallo, GRTS Sports.
We go for our second commercial break. International news follows.
GT Bank. Carry your bank everywhere you go with the GT Bank Gambia mobile app. Take control of your account anytime, anywhere with ease and security. Do your banking the smart way with the GT Bank Gambia mobile app. Check your account balance, transfer funds, buy now with cash power and mobile credit, withdraw money from our ATM and POS, and pay your bills, request for a Verve card or Visa card, check your Forex rates, and do so much more in just a few steps. Download the GT Bank Gambia mobile app today from Google Play Store or Apple Store. Do your banking the smart way. Do your banking now with the GT Bank Gambia mobile app. Terms and conditions apply. GT Bank, wouldn't you rather bank with us?
From an early age, we value the feeling of speed, the thrill of the wind as we rush to our destinations, the feel of our feet bounding over the ground, the way the world blurs as we rush by. Faster, faster than a ray of light, I'm flying. I have one speed, I have one gear. Keep on moving, I won't stop till I get there. Want to experience speed? Then subscribe to the Gambia's only 4G LTE mobile network, QCell. With speeds of up to 45 megabytes per second, you can get online in the blink of an eye. The fastest browsing, stream videos faster, do much more faster. Just dial *335# to join the fastest club. QCell's 4G LTE mobile network. Go faster. For more information, call 111. QCell, Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back, and now in the internationals. South Sudan's government is reportedly in talks with the former army chief. A standoff between the government and General Paul Malong has raised fears of fresh fighting in the capital, Juba. CGTN's Patrick Oyet reports.
An extraordinary Council of Ministers meeting to try to resolve a stalemate between the former army chief, General Paul Malong I, and government forces. President Salva Kiir ordered that guards of Malong be reduced from 50 to 3, but Malong has not complied. The army responded by surrounding his residence, creating panic in the capital. But Juba says it's hopeful the issue will be resolved peacefully.
Efforts are underway and the talks are going on because we don't want this thing to be handled militarily, because under the normal circumstances it would have been a question of moving in the tanks and the whole thing is over, but we don't want that to happen, and this is why we are giving room for further contacts and interventions, and we are optimistic that this issue will be addressed soon.
Malong has been at the forefront of South Sudan's wars, an army officer who joined politics prior to the start of the ongoing conflict. He had been a governor in the then northern Barghazal state, but when conflict erupted in mid-December 2013, Malong left his position and joined the army in fighting opposition forces loyal to former Vice President Riek Machar. He was later an army chief before being relieved from that post early this year. One political analyst says keeping Malong under house arrest without any clear charges in either a court of law or military court-martial could be counterproductive.
Now Malong is getting much support and sympathetic from people, even those who were initially opposed to him, for the fact that he was seen as an obstacle to peace. But now, with the treatment and what is going on now, people are seeing that Malong has been humiliated beyond what it deserves, because it's believed to be the person who have stood for this government, and many could not understand how come that the government you stood for it would go back and do the same treatment.
Peter Mayen says the standoff shows just how complicated it is to resolve South Sudan's conflict, with many of the army generals having forces loyal to them rather than to the nation. South Sudan's 4-year-old conflict has already pushed almost 5 million people to a state of severe food insecurity, according to the latest report released jointly by government and UN on Monday this week. Millions more are displaced, and events such as the impasse between the former army chief and the government are concerning for the local population. However, the unity government is trying to assure citizens there is no need to panic and that the disagreement will be resolved peacefully. Patrick Oyet, CGTN, Juba, South Sudan.
And that brings us to the end of this newscast. But before we go, a quick look at our headline breaking stories. President Barrow has relieved Mai Ahmed Fati of his appointment as Minister of the Interior. Members of the ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Task Force Friday called on President Barrow at his office in Fajara. South Sudan's government has held talks with former army chief to ease tension in the war-torn country. And Italy has opened investigation into the death of 26 African girls in the Mediterranean Sea. Well, that was all in this edition of the News at 8. Thanks for the pleasure of your company, and do stay with GRTS.
From 14 to 18.